Hello everyone. Hi. Sorry about the couple minutes late. My apologies. My kids were playing with the iPad this morning and I couldn't find it, so had to take a couple minutes there to find it. Anyways, I'm really excited about diving right in. I know that this was a big pain point for a lot of directors. So I want to go in and just review what our topic is for today, and then I'm going to dive right into strategy. So tonight we're talking about how to ensure that you have clean classrooms without micromanaging, right? So awesome. So the first thing is you want to be aware of is what exactly are you micromanaging? What is that thing that you're constantly coming after? So for example, you want to be aware of, are you constantly telling them to clean their counters? Are you constantly reminding the teachers to sweep the floor if that's part of their responsibility? Are you reminding them to take the garbage after lunch before nap time? Are you reminding them, hi Jill, hello, how are you, welcome. Are you reminding them to, like, what exactly are you constantly reminding your teachers to do when it comes to this concept of cleanup? So that's the first thing I want you to do. Just take a piece of paper and a pen, write down what are the top 3 things you're constantly reminding your teachers to do. So the most common things are cleaning the counters, taking the garbage after lunchtime. For some people, it's sweeping the floor, organizing the toys on the shelf after cleanup, especially in a toddler room where kids do not know how to clean up very well, especially. So just write down what are those things that you're constantly reminding people to clean up. That's your first step. The second step is I want you to step back for a minute when it comes to organization, when it comes to cleanup. Hi, Emma. When it comes to any type of personal responsibility. Okay, so I'll share a personal example. Every Saturday night, I sit down and I map out my week. And my week has already been mapped out in the beginning of the quarter because every 90 days I map out what I'm going to be doing for the next 3 months, what I'm creating, who I'm talking to, what relationships I'm going to be creating, who I'm going to be visiting, who I'm going out for coffee with, all kinds of stuff like that, right? And then every month I plan out the month again to see if there were any changes. And then every 2 weeks I map out the week again to make sure there are any changes again. And then every week on Saturday night, I map it out one more time because the nature of life is that things come up. But that doesn't mean that you don't stay on course with what your original plan is. It just means you have to make some tweaks here and there. So when I sit down, and I'm a real obsessive planner, as you can see, I map out 90 days in advance. When I sit down to plan, I'm in charge of my week. So yes, there are different things that are relying on me, right? So I have my husband, I have my kids, I have clients, I have a bunch of different people are relying on me. But the schedule that I'm creating for myself, I'm in charge of that. I make that to-do list. I make this list of, okay, I need to make sure that, the kids all get their dentist appointments. I need to make sure that this happens. I need to make sure that this happens. And those are my personal responsibilities on my checklist. There's no one coming to me. My husband doesn't come after me and say, hey, Khani, by the way, did you, do that thing on the checklist? By the way, did you call a doctor and, make sure it gets done? No, it's my checklist. I make sure it happens because it's my responsibility. Okay? I'm going to give you another example before I tell you where I'm going with this. But first, let me say hi to some people. So Sandy's here. Hi, Sandy. And Stephanie's here. And Amy's here. Hey, Amy. And Ellen is here. I just want to make sure I say hi to everyone. Okay, so I'm going to give you another example. So my 6.5-year-old son, he'll be 7 in May, so he's almost 7. He's been struggling a little bit with his morning routine. And I have a chart for him, and I have a routine, and we have a whole system in place and whatever it is, but he's still struggling with it. And I found myself constantly micromanaging his morning routine, like constantly reminding him, don't forget to do this, don't forget to do that, don't forget to do this, right? Very similar to what you're kind of doing with your teachers, like reminding them to, move all the clutter and take away the papers and wipe down the countertops and clean the paintbrushes and, don't forget to do this and wash out the bowls and put the bowls in the sink so that the cleaning lady can wash it after you bake. And it's endless, right? And so I was getting really exasperated and I needed it to stop. But I needed to figure out how I was how it was going to stop. And it wasn't going to be with me controlling it. I had to give him the control. He needed to take ownership of his morning routine. Okay. And this is the same thing with your teachers. They need to take ownership of their classroom, of the cleanliness in their classroom. I'm going to show you how you can help them get there. But as long as you have ownership of the classroom, as long as you're coming in and reminding them to clean up, you're poaching ownership. And so whenever you come in to remind them to clean up, you stripped away the ownership. You've taken away all responsibility. You've taken away all feeling of connection to the classroom. It's your responsibility that it's cleaned up. It bothers you that it's cleaned. It doesn't bother me. So anyway, so going back to the example with my son, because it's very powerful what happened in the last 10 days or so. So I took him out for coffee, he had chocolate milk, and I said, look, Mendel, let's talk about this morning routine. Like, this is getting really hard for mommy. I constantly have to remind you, you don't like that I'm nagging you. You're late. You almost missed the bus. Every morning's a big rush. Driving me crazy. We got to figure this out. And he's like, yeah, it's really annoying. You're always reminding me what to do in the morning. I said, yeah, I'm reminding you because I, see you running around the house with, one leg in your pants and one hand hanging out. And it's frustrating for mommy when I see you just running around crazy in the morning and the bus is coming in 10 minutes. So anyways, we're having this whole conversation. And he's like, you don't need to remind me. So I was like, well, I understand that I don't need to remind you. How are you going to make sure that you're ready on time? So he kind of looks at me like he didn't understand my question. Like, all of a sudden I'm saying, how are you going to remember that you need to be ready? How are you going to know what time you need to be ready? He's like, well, I'll look at the clock. So I was like, okay, do you know how to tell the time on the clock? Maybe you can get me a watch. Okay, that's an idea. Maybe we can get you a watch. Well, what would you do with that watch? What time does the bus come? We're having this whole conversation now. So I said, the bus comes at 8:30. Okay, so I'll make sure to be ready at 8:30. I said, well, what does be ready mean? I need to wear my clothes. Okay, is there anything else you need to do to go on the bus? Yeah, I need shoes. Okay, what else? And we're going through this whole thing, this whole exercise. And he's sitting down there with me, and I'm writing, and he's talking, and he's saying shoes and clothes. And we're getting down now. He needs to pack his snack. He needs to make sure his homework is done. He needs to brush his teeth. We're going down this, and he's saying every single thing that needs to get done before he goes. I was like, okay, great. First day comes, I'm telling you, he's sitting in his bed, pajamas on, feet hanging up in the air. It's 8:10, bus is coming in 20 minutes. My mouth is closed. I'm like, I gave it to him. I gotta trust him. Fine, I'm sitting down, I'm drinking my coffee. 8:23 rolls in. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, my stomach is like turning upside down already. I'm like, the bus is coming in like 6 minutes. He's still in pajamas. I'm sitting, I'm like, I have to trust this. I have to really give him the trust. Anyways, 8:23, he rolls in with his clothes on. I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? Anyways, he comes in, he sits down, he's like, oh, what's for breakfast? So there's like a couple options on the table, you can help yourself. And he's fine, he helps himself, he picks something out. I see him, he keeps looking at his watch. He's like, okay, it's 8:29, I have 1 minute. Okay, I need to get my shoes on. He runs, he made the bus. Anyways, we did this for like a couple of days, and then I sat down with him again, and I said, look, Mendel, I see in the morning, right before the bus comes, you're rushing a lot. And you're like wolfing your food down. You have to eat very, very fast. He goes, yeah, I don't have enough time to eat breakfast. I was like, okay, well, let's try to figure out how much time it takes you to eat breakfast. Like, maybe you need more than 30 seconds. He's like, yeah, I probably need a couple minutes. I was like, okay, so if you need to be ready at 8:30, what time do you need to be sitting at the breakfast table? 8:25. Great. Next morning is Friday. This just happened on Friday. I see him in the kitchen. He's standing by the fridge. It's 8:27. And I hear him talking to himself. He goes, 8:27. He's looking in the fridge. He's looking, takes an orange, sits down. I'm like, why'd you pick an orange? He's like, well, it's 8:27. I don't have time to eat breakfast, but I have time to eat an orange. So he eats his orange, he gets his stuff, and I walk him down to the bus stop. This just happened on Friday, so this is like very, very fresh. But here's the thing that I realized that was so powerful. I really gave him the ownership. And really giving the ownership means truly, truly trusting that they're really going to follow through with it. Even in the last second. Okay? So that was just a very powerful experience. It happened with a 7-year-old. Okay? So now, A bunch of you guys just walked in, so I'm going to go back and I want you guys to do the first exercise that we just did, and then I'm going to move on to the strategy of giving your teachers the ownership of the classroom. So the first thing I asked everyone to do is, first let me just say hi. So Sandy's here, and Chrissy's here, Itty, hi Itty, and Kim, and Shayna, and Kirsty, and Sarah's here, and Ellen, hi, and Sarah, and Ellen. Hi everyone, wow, it's so exciting. Okay. So the first exercise is taking a piece of paper and a pen, or put it into your phone if you have your notes in front of you, and I want you to write down what are the top 3 things that you're constantly reminding your teachers to put away or clean in the classroom. Okay, and you can actually write it down over here in the comments. Actually, that's actually a better idea. Just write it down here in the comments. So are you constantly reminding your teachers to clean the counters, to move away paper, to clear clutter, to wash the paintbrushes, to clean out the sink, to sweep the floor, to take out the garbage? Please write down your top 3 things that you're doing. And while you're doing it, let me say hi to people that just came in. Blumy's here and Elisheva is here. Hi. All right, so let me see some of the stuff that are the top things that you guys are reminding your teachers to do. And then we're going to get into the strategy. I'm really excited. I prepared some great stuff. It's awesome. Okay. So let's see what we have here. So just pop into the chat box and just write down your top 3 things, or even just one thing that you are constantly reminding. Put supplies back and extra papers. Yep. Clean craft carts and counters. Sign in and sign out. Oh, for them when they have to punch in and punch out. Bring food back to the kitchen. Don't leave stuff on top of the cubbies in the hallway. Books on the counters. Materials from art activities. Yes, yes. Very common, as you can see. Same things happening in all the schools. Leftovers after arts and crafts. Yes, big one. Hi, Estrella. Okay, so now that you know the big, clean the common kitchen, put away their room snacks, wash their cooking materials. Okay, dusty shelves. Awesome. Okay, so yeah, so this is great. So a lot of the common answers are about the counters, which are a huge eyesore to any director and to any teacher. Making sure that containers are in the proper spaces, cubbies are clear, paintbrushes are clean, paint is cleaned out of paint cups. Outdoor cleanup, yes. Shared common spaces are a huge, huge piece. Like, everyone just kind of leaves out and doesn't realize that, like, hello, like, no one's really cleaning this up. You guys got to take care of this. Yeah, big common spaces are a big one. Like, the kitchen is a common space. So everyone kind of just feels like, well, it's not my kitchen. They just kind of take all their stuff and, you know, for lack of a better word, take your shit and go. Like, that's kind of what happens. And yeah, and it's just, it's not okay. Yeah, so, and then the paintbrushes are a big one, because the excuse a lot of teachers will have is like, but the kids are there, but we have 15 2-year-olds. We don't have enough help. We don't have enough people to clean the paintbrushes. And again, it's excuses. It's not a reason not to clean it up. Okay. Awesome. So now that you wrote down exactly what are the things that are constantly coming up, the next thing that I want you guys to think about is the concept of storage rooms, putting things away correctly. Yeah, so storage rooms are common spaces. And it gets very, very tricky when you're working in common spaces. So the next thing you want to think about is the 3 C's of running the organization, of running your school. And David Marquet talks about this a lot. I'm going to talk about this in connection with the cleanup. But for those of you that have the conference pass, definitely make sure that you watch his session. It is amazing. So anyways, when we're talking about cleanup and the cleanliness in the classroom, there's 3 things you're thinking about, okay? Number 1 is the competency level. Are the teachers physically competent to put supplies away? And the answer is yes. Every single teacher that's working in your school building is physically capable and competent to put it away. Unless your teacher is physically unable, like they're in a wheelchair or they're in crutches or whatever it is, and they can't move around the building or whatever it is, that makes them incompetent to put supplies away. As long as a teacher is able and has 2 functioning hands and 2 functioning feet, she is competent enough to put the supplies away, right? And the reason I say that is because you always have to understand the competency level, okay? A 5-year-old is not competent enough to put supplies on a top shelf. they can't reach it. They don't understand they need to take a stool to reach it. Even if they take a stool, they can't reach it. So when an adult says, oh, but I couldn't reach it, that's a little bit of a problem because you're an adult. If you can't reach something, get a chair. Like, understand that there's other ways to get on top. So that's a competency thing. So yes, teachers are competent enough to put things away. The next thing is the control. Are we giving teachers the control to be part of that process? Which means, let me hear from you guys a little bit. When it comes to the common spaces, what are some of the things that you've tried already? When it comes to working through cleaning the counters, putting stuff away, the storage room, the outdoor spaces, what are some of the things that you've tried? Hi, Malka. How are you? Okay, so while you guys are writing sign-up lists to sign-up lists to clean the kitchen. Awesome. Rotating who takes care of the space. Reminders in the weekly memo. Okay, making a checklist that needs to be completed daily. Sarah, who made the checklist that needs to be completed daily? Assigning each classroom to a day to clean up the storage room. Who created that checklist? And who created the rotating system, who takes care of the spaces? And who created the sign-up list? Okay. So Sarah says that she created the sign-up list. Sandy says she made a checklist. Hi, Shani. Reminders in the weekly memo. Stephanie, rotating. Who prepared the rotation? So Sandy says, we did it as a management group of what we saw we needed to have done. So management group is like you and kind of like the admins who work with you. I just want to get clear on that just because every school kind of has different names for who kind of works in the admin or management group. Okay, so Itty says, I gave bins. Hold on a second here. I gave bins, telling them every day the supplies should go back in there. Teachers decide with each other who will take out and who will put it back. Jill says, I created the sign-up list. Sandy says, yes. Okay. Hi, Suzanne. Okay. So here's the thing that myself and a few of the teachers. Okay. Awesome, Stephanie. Okay. So here's the thing that might seem a little counterintuitive. Not so much counterintuitive, but okay, let me just read this for 1 second before I give this. Okay. I'd like things to just be put away after they're done being used. If you take it out, put it away. They're really in charge of their class, and shared spaces are expected to be kept clean in respect for others. Yeah. So here's the thing, going back to control, okay? When people have control of what it is that they're doing, there's immediate more ownership to that, okay? So when we're creating checklists for the classroom, okay? I'm the director. If I'm creating the checklist, that means I'm the one that's responsible for that checklist. And so what you want to do is you want to sit down with your teachers and thinking about all the spaces that you were talking about, the painting, the outdoor space, all of that kind of stuff. And you're having a conversation with your teachers. Okay, so let's start with something as simple as the counters, the cleaning of the clutter of the counters. Okay, you're sitting down with your team and we're having a brainstorming session about the general upkeep of the building, maintenance of the building. We're having a brainstorming session of how to make sure that the maintenance is working appropriately. And what you would do is, in preparation for that meeting, is you would tell every single teacher, I want you to come with 2 or 3 ideas of how we can improve the maintenance of the building. Okay, how we can make sure that the building always looks pretty, your classrooms always look really well maintained. I want you to bring some ideas. At the meeting, you're going to be the last one to speak. So you're going to go over to a teacher's going to start off the meeting. Okay, so let's say you pick on, I don't know, one teacher. Let's say her name is Jamie. Okay, Jamie, I want you to start the meeting. Great. Jamie starts the meeting. Jamie says, okay, I'm going to start with sharing my ideas. So Jamie says, the two ideas that I thought of how we can make sure that my classroom is cleaner is that, I sat with my team and we decided that every day at 12:30 after the kids leave the classroom or whatever it is, we're going to have a reminder that goes off on our phone, and that's going to be a reminder with 5 different things that we have to look through. We pick the 5 top things. Each of us is taking 2 things, so in under 60 seconds the entire classroom is clean. That's our idea. Okay, then she goes to the next teacher. The next teacher shares her idea. And every single teacher shares an idea. You do not talk. You do not say great idea, not good idea, yes, good idea. Everyone is sharing around, because yes, good idea, not good idea, you're judging their ideas. You're not judging their ideas. Think about with the child's artwork. When the child comes to you with their artwork, you don't say, oh, what a beautiful painting. You say, tell me about your picture. I notice X, Y, and Z. Right? Because you're not judging their work. The same thing is with the teachers. You're not judging the ideas that you gave, that they brought. If you want them to consistently bring their ideas, you can't judge their ideas. So even if it's a great idea, okay, it's just like saying with the kid, like, but what do you mean if it's gorgeous, like I'm just going to boost their self-esteem? No, you're not, because now they start having this whole contraption that, well, what if the next picture I make isn't as pretty? The teacher has the same concept. Well, maybe next time I won't have such a good idea, so I'll just keep quiet next meeting. I don't have any good ideas this time. There's no such a thing as good ideas. We all want your ideas. So everyone goes around the room, everyone shares their ideas. And you take all the data on your chartboard and you start writing everything down. Okay, now let's sort through them. What are some ideas that everyone agrees on? What are some ideas that everyone's excited about? Oh yeah, I really like that idea of the timer. Oh, I really like that. Oh, I really like that. Okay, now let's look through this. Does this align with what a clean classroom looks like in our school? So every different school has a different standard of cleanliness, okay? Some schools have a crazy standard of cleanliness. Where I worked in Preschool of the Arts in Manhattan, she had a really high standard of cleanliness, but she also had full-time cleaning help to uphold that high standard of cleanliness. So as teachers, we didn't have the laborsome responsibility of upholding to her high standard of cleanliness. She hired full-time cleaning help who was constantly going around the school and dusting and mopping and spraying and cleaning and wiping and scrubbing, and a whole day they were just cleaning the building because all day she wanted the building to sparkle. No problem. She hired full-time cleaning help. Most schools cannot afford that. You don't have to afford that. But you have to understand that you can't have a standard of cleanliness where it's sparkling and glistening and you can lick the floors all day long if you don't have full-time cleaning help, right? So are you adjusting your standard to the resources that you have available? So when you tell your teachers you have to do is that reasonable what you're asking them? And that's why I told you to write down what you're constantly asking them to clean up. And for most of you, what you're saying are very normal, reasonable requests. The clutter, the this, the that. Dusting is not a reasonable request, okay? The teacher has 18 kids. She's not dusting the classroom. That's the cleaning lady's job, not hers. That should never be a teacher's job to have to dust the area. She has to clear the counters and make sure there's no paint or whatever it is on, like make it look like livable. Dusting is a whole different level. So again, you have to understand the level of competence, the standard that you're asking of yourself. So let me pause. Let me make sure that everyone's. Let me pause. Let me make sure that everyone is following along with me. So first, let me say hi to everyone that just came. So Kathy's here. Sarah's here. Hi, Sarah. Jamie just walked in. Okay, fine. Suzanne. Yeah, I said hi to you before. Okay. So before I go into the final phase of just helping you understand how to walk your teachers through creating their own checklists, because anything that you want the teachers to do and take ownership of, they have to create it. It has to be theirs. They have to take the ownership. If you want them to take the ownership, you can't hand them, here's a checklist, do it. Why should I do your checklist? That's like giving a teacher, here's a curriculum, do the curriculum. She has no connection to the curriculum. Why should she do any of the ideas in there? She has no relationship to any of it. You could give her the curriculum and say, I want you to pick 6 ideas from here that you connect to or that you relate to. Great, now we're talking on a different scale. So let me hear from you guys what you're taking from this so far. Those of you that have been sharing, what are your thoughts about sitting with the teachers and having them share ideas of what a clean classroom looks like, of what the outdoor space should look like, and how it should be maintained without you sharing any of your own ideas? Again, the minute you share your ideas, you've biased the room. And you need to remember that as a leader. The moment you've shared your own idea, you've poached all ownership and responsibility. You share your ideas at the end, after everyone has shared, because the moment you share your idea, you're the leader. You've biased the entire room to your idea. Anyone that shares an idea after you has to own up to your idea. And so a new employee, an assistant, a new teacher is never going to open up her mouth because what if my idea isn't as good as what the director just said? They're never going to tell you that. But that's what they're thinking in their head. That's why you have to share last and let all your teachers share first. So let me hear from you guys a little bit. So Chrissy and Sarah, Stephanie, let me hear from you guys a little bit. Jill. Okay, so Sarah says, we've never defined it as a team what cleanup means for our entire center. I just assumed that they know what I meant when I say clean your classroom. Sarah, I love what you just wrote right now, and I'm going to repeat it one more time because this is like a defining moment of this live stream. We've never defined as a team, hold on. We've never defined as a team what clean means for our entire center. I assumed that they knew what I meant when I say clean your classroom. Okay, when I was a teenager, I was not a clean person, like as far as like organization. And when my mom told me, Khani, please go clean up your room, to me, clean up your room is make sure mommy doesn't see any of the stuff that's out. And so I'd stuff everything under my bed, I'd stuff it into the closet, I'd wipe everything off my dresser and dump it into my drawers. My room's clean. And my mom would come in, she'd be horrified. This is not clean. I'm like, why not? Can't see anything. Okay? So my standard of cleanliness and my mom's standard of cleanliness will never be aligned. Ever. Okay? After I do dinner, I have a completely different standard of cleanliness. I have no issue leaving dishes in the sink if the cleaning lady's coming tomorrow morning. Now, some of you might be listening to this and be horrified, but that's my standard of cleanliness. I don't believe in washing dishes if 8 hours later I'm having a cleaning lady coming to clean it for me. That's my standard of cleanliness. Some people can't live with that. And so I love what you said, Sarah, is that we can never assume that our people understand what any of our vision is or what any of our concept of cleanliness or Reggio-inspired or progressive or collaboration. These words are just like, even something as simple as clean, for every person that means something else. And so sitting with your team and defining that is so powerful. So powerful. Thanks so much for sharing that. Okay, Stephanie says, I need the next step. We've done what you're saying. They make the list. Teachers have been giving ownership, but follow through is another story. Okay, great. We will not get to that today because I want to keep this short, but I love that Stephanie already said that they did make the list, they were in charge of the ownership, and now's the follow-through. And that's the next step. Okay. Sarah says, the checklist that we've developed need to be completely redone with their input and ideas. Yes, Sarah. But I wouldn't say, I love that you said completely redone, because I would totally scratch that out to just literally start from a blank sheet of paper, because their input and ideas have to be on there before your ideas. That's ownership, because they see that their ideas mean something. Think about the kids, okay? When you're doing voting with them, if the teacher says, well, this is what I like. This is about the kids. Hear what they like first. Then you can also say, oh, and Maura really likes vanilla ice cream. I'm going to put my name here on the bottom because I also like vanilla ice cream. So again, think about that concept. Okay. So going into this is awesome. So let me just review one more time, just what we spoke about, and then I'm going to close here full circle. So the first thing that we spoke about was writing down what are the top 2 or 3 things that you're constantly reminding your teachers to do. And everyone shared, and it pretty much came along the same lines of cleaning counters, cleaning common spaces, cleaning up the kitchen, food supplies, putting arts and crafts back, the storage room, all those common spaces. The next thing is that what Sarah was saying is sitting down and defining as a team what the word clean means. What does a clean storage room mean? What does a clean kitchen mean? What does a clean classroom mean? What does a clean outdoor space mean? What is the definition of clean? Right? After you make those definitions, then the teachers can start sharing their input. But again, as the leader and as the director, this is the hardest thing to do as a leader is shh, and don't give your input. Wait till every single person has shared. And when teachers say, well, what do you think, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter what I think right now. Right now, what's important is for everyone here to share. This is your classroom. You're the one that has to be in that classroom every single day. I decide what clean means in my office because I'm the only one that sits in my office every single day. But in your classroom, there are 15 other human beings and parents come into your classroom. And so we have to think about, as a school, what does cleanliness mean? What is the standard that we want to uphold by, right? And so you have that meeting and you create those checklists with them. And for every single room, it could be a different kind of checklist, okay? Because the classroom can have one kind, this can have that kind. But the last thing I'm going to leave you with is this. And then maybe we'll have a follow-up Facebook live streaming on how to do follow-up with the teachers based on this list. But the final piece is this that I wanted to say. When your teachers are creating the checklist or when you're giving in your input at the end, you want to make sure that the checklist or the rotating system or whatever it is that you choose is there to serve the bigger purpose, okay? If the checklists become these tedious, laborsome, extra work, they're never gonna do it. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So you want to make sure that the checklists that they're creating are truly not tiresome. So when the teacher says, okay, yeah, this is a great checklist. Okay, well, let's time that. How many minutes will it take for you to complete this whole checklist? Does it take under 2 minutes? Does it take under 120 seconds? Because that's all you have at the end of the day. Let's be realistic. At the end of the day, no one wants to stay for an extra 10 minutes. Everyone wants to get right out of that building. So let's be realistic. We got 2 minutes. Are you going to be able to complete this checklist in 2 minutes? What's the checklist for a clean kitchen? Does that take under 30 seconds to clean up and put everything where it needs to go? Let's be realistic, because if it's taking too long, then maybe the checklist isn't aligned. Because one of the reasons why follow through is hard is because the checklist that we created wasn't aligned with where the teachers are holding. Teachers are busy, they're running, they're moving, they're constantly going to different directions. We can't give them extra work. The checklists are there to serve them. And so that's the final thing I'm going to leave you with. I'm also going to let you know is that I'm middle of creating a little checklist of checklists. So like you as the leader to kind of have your own little blueprint to look at and say, okay, are these, is the checklist done in a timely manner? What did it have the input of all the people involved? Whatever it is, I'm creating like a little piece like that for you to have, just to help you out. So actually, I'd love to hear from you guys if that's something that would be valuable, for you guys. Would you want something like that? Before I kind of go ahead and create that. Let me hear from you guys. So Jamie says, for me personally, there's two distinct aspects: organizing the stuff vis-a-vis a place for everything, and everything's in its place. I'm better cleaner than a straightener. Yeah. Okay, so let me just hear quickly from you guys if that's something you'd be interested in. It's kind of like the checklist of checklists for you as the leader to have your own little piece with you. Yeah, follow-up is so important, Jill. I totally agree with you, but follow-up doesn't only mean, hey, I'm following up with you. Follow-up can also mean at the next staff meeting, bringing back out that list and saying, okay, guys, let's check in over here. How's the list been going? How's everything been working? Do you guys feel like your classrooms are cleaner? Are the checklists helping you guys, or is it more tiresome? Is it too hard to follow up with? And if you're not doing it, why not? What's going on? What are the pitfalls? Tell me so that we can work together. Because again, and here's the thing also, the first time you make that checklist, it's not going to be perfect. 100% it's not going to be perfect because it's the first time. The nature is that when you go out and you work with it, that's when you can actually start perfecting it, right? There's always a prototype. The prototype never makes it to the market. There's a prototype. They get feedback from the market. The market tells them what they like and what they don't like, and then they put it on the shelves, okay? You make the checklist, you make the prototype, you go out there, the teachers do the work, they do what's going on, you take data based on what's happening, and then you get the feedback, and then you go out into the market again. You go out into the classrooms again. Hi, Beth. Okay, Kim says that would be helpful. This is a new way of thinking for us, so any tools we have will help. Yes, Kim, and I'm so happy you said that. It's a new way of thinking for us. Yes, it is, and it's a new way of thinking for the teachers also. And I love that you said, and really, Kim, even just sharing that with the teachers, like just that little piece of vulnerability, like this is a new way of thinking for me, but I know that I want you guys to have more ownership of your classroom. And I want you guys to be part of this. I want you to have control of what's going on. Like, they're going to look at you like you're crazy, but they're going to love it. They really, really will. And it's scary to let go. But the more that we do it, the easier it becomes, flexing that muscle. So yeah, any tools we have will help, Kim. I'm so glad. Anyways, ladies, it was so great chatting with you as always. For those of you that missed the beginning, you can always go back and watch the replay. Thank you all so much. And I will see you guys at our next Facebook Live. Either we'll do it on how to do follow-up of this checklist, or we'll do it on the other 2 topics that I had told you guys about. Todar rabah bevakasha, Jill. Hi, Rivka. See you on Thursday. Very excited about that. Take care. Have a great night, everyone. All the best. Bye.